What's going on, guys? Chuck here. Today, we're sitting back, we're taking it easy, we're doing things a little bit different. Today, we're just going to take it casual and, we're going to talk about those films that we all have in our collection that we just like to put in occasionally just to get the feels or to put you in a happy place. Sometimes, you're not feeling too good or you just want to kind of get away from things, kind of just relax and just sit back and enjoy something. And there's these certain films that you put in, and they just make you feel really good. Well, today I'm going to share with you six of my films, or films, six films from my collection, I should say, that do that for me. That I'll put in, and because I just want to have a happy moment. First of all, let me apologize for the lighting. This is kind of a makeshift, just trying something a little bit different. Um, lighting is something I'm working on, so it's a work in progress. So I do apologize. So, without further ado, let's get started. This first one, and this is the only DVD from the bunch, but this is a film that used to play constantly on HBO and Showtime. I think it might have been Showtime as a kid. I can't remember which one it was, but it was constantly rerun a lot. This is where I first saw it, and me and my best friend at the time, we saw this. We fell in love with this movie, and it just something about it was just so silly uh, and enjoyable, and it's just goofy. The premise was fun, and it's one of these cases where it's a film with an ensemble cast, and I always love a good film with an ensemble cast. And that movie is Midnight Madness, of course, with a young Michael Fox before he added the J and became a superstar. And this is obviously it's Walt Disney release, kind of a rare Walt Disney film. It's not kiddie fair, if you will. It's kind of that in between. It's a very farcical comedy in a lot of ways. If you don't know the premise of Midnight Madness, it's I believe it's six teams from my college teams get together, go on an all night scavenger hunt. And then we have the yellow team, the green, the yellow team, which is made up of basically your main characters, with David Naughton from American Werewolf in London and Michael Fox, and three other characters. You have the green team, which is the jocks, the football players. You have the red team, which is kind of like the feminist women. There's the white team, the nerds, headed up by Eddie Deason and gang. And then the villains of the piece, the blue team, um, which is headed up. Oh my gosh, I can't remember his name, but he was in Flounder in Animal House, and it's going to kill me. I can't remember his name, but it's a very fun movie. It's basically they go from like I said, it's a scavenger hunt, so they're going from place to place solving clues, and there's some heart, I guess some touching moments. You got Michael Fox and Dave Naughton playing kind of brothers who don't get along. I think this is one of Michael J. Fox's earliest films too. Um, but it was a cute movie. That's one I saw. There's so many memorable quotes and lines from the film that I just enjoyed from my childhood. And it's just one that was very hard to find in any kind of physical media whatsoever. And this was like I think the last release. I believe this was strictly maybe a Disney Blu-ray or DVD. It's never been on Blu-ray, and it's something I think Disney kind of wanted to forget about, but because it was kind of developed a bit of a cult status, it became popular enough for them to at least release as DVD. And it's not even widescreen; it's like standard definition. It's you know crop, which is too bad. I'd love to see this film get like a proper release sometime. However, being Walt Disney, and it's kind of kind of like the Black Hole. Some of these other live action films they did in that early '80s period. This is like 1980. That's probably not going to happen. It's too bad. But this is like I said, this is a one. It's a fun one. If you've never seen it, you enjoy good silly comedy. It's family friendly too, so it's nothing too bad. I obviously it's Walt Disney, but I recommend checking it out. Okay, next up is a classic of mine, and the actor in this is one I really enjoy. I always enjoy his performance when I see him, but this is probably my favorite film of his, which I have many favorites of his, and that is The Jerk. This movie, I can't remember the first time I saw it, but I know I just fell in love with the goofiness of it immediately. From the very first line, I was born a poor black child from Steve Martin. It's hilarious. There's a lot of things in there. Obviously, it's probably wouldn't. I don't know if it would fly now. Um, it's be controversial or questionable, and as anything. But this is, it's written by Carl Reiner and directed by Carl Reiner. I guess written by Steve Martin. This is his movie debut, and it's just so much fun. It's just so goofy. It's so silly. There's lines from this film that I will constantly quote to this day. You know, this is such a fun movie. Um, and I mean, there's really not much to say. It's The Jerk. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's a lot of fun. It's seeing Steve Martin, who's a guy who just, he doesn't seem to age. He's always looked older when he was younger, so he looks pretty good to this day. But this is a lot of fun and one of my favorites. Other Steve Martin films I really like, besides The Jerk, The Lonely Guys, and their favorite one, Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. Obviously, the Parenthood is a great one, as well as The Father Brides, which I really love. But this is like one I go to, just that moment I just want to be happy, try and get that shadow off my face. But just go and just put you in a happy place. This is a good movie to do it. The Jerk. Next up, okay. I don't know if I ever made this clear or not before, but I am a lover of musicals. I enjoy musical theater. I enjoy old, movie musicals. Not many people really get into them. I know it's kind of a weird thing, but something I thoroughly enjoy. And this one is, and this one, it's a genre they don't really do much anymore. It's a rarity when they do, but it's always fun when they do it. Well, not always, but it's nice to see it when it does happen. And this one came out, I can't remember, actually, sometime back, but became really popular. It was a huge hit when it did come out, and that was Mamma Mia. I love this movie. This, and I went in this movie not really knowing much about Mamma Mia, other than it's the songs of ABBA, and you've got Meryl Streep, who's always great. Pierce Brosnan, so many other great actors. But I went in and just absolutely fell in love with the story. It's fun. It's upbeat. The music is great. I mean, you can't go into Mamma Mia and come out in a bad mood. It just puts you in a fantastic mood. And even another thing too is this. Well, first the Blu-ray I had before I got the 4K. I remember getting the Blu-ray is one of the earliest examples of a Blu-ray. I would say people tell me, well, how do I find a good Blu-ray? I said, put in Mamma Mia, and you'll see how good a Blu-ray can be, because the colors are Greece, the ocean, everything's so vibrant and pop in the 4K even more so. It's a beautiful disc to put in to show off their color. But still, music is great. It's fun. I had a soundtrack in my car. I rock it all the time. I've seen the stage play twice. And it's just a fun movie. And this is one I'll just put in, and just to have myself a good upbeat laugh and a lot of fun. So yeah, Mamma Mia. The sequel, Mamma Mia, Here We Go Again, not up to par with the first, unfortunately. It's like the exact polar opposite of this one. Where this one's, it's the songs are great, the story's upbeat, you just feel good coming out. Here We Go Again kind of is almost like a downer for a lot of the movie, which is too bad, because that's not how I want to remember Mamma Mia. I want to remember it being upbeat and happy, and that's what this did for me. So, yeah, check it out if you have it, Mamma Mia. And again, the cast is great. People call it Pierce Brosnan, is singing is whatever. I think it's fine. Is it perfect? No. But, the actual members of ABBA worked on this, helped him. I think it's fine for his range. I think he's good. Just you're not used to seeing or hearing Pierce Brosnan sing these songs, so it's going to throw you off. It seems weird. But, I mean, it's fine, okay? So forget all people who are going to hate on Pierce Brosnan singing. I think it's fine. Plus, when I sing, I can hit those octave ranges. It's much easier than anybody else trying to do ABBA. So, Mamma Mia. You want to get feel good and smalty, then I've got the perfect film for that. And it's almost an obvious when you talk about feel good. And this goes back to my very early childhood. This is like 1982, which puts me at about 7 years old, I believe. And when this hit, it was huge. It was huge. I remember it was a friend's birthday party, and we went to the theater to see this movie. And we came out, and we all were just enamored with this film. Like I said, well, the whole country, world, whatever, was enamored with the film. And I think it might have been the first time that I can recall in my lifetime that I actually remember that a film took off and became such a huge hit and was everywhere. And that film is, of course, E.T., the extraterrestrial. This I absolutely love and adore this movie. This movie never fails to pull my heartstrings, no matter how many times I see it. And it's funny talking about this is a movie you go to for, that feel good, happy, but you come out crying at the end of it. And I always do. I'm not gonna lie, but it's always a happy cry. It's a good way to feel good. Emotions pour out, and it's cathartic in a lot of ways. But I remember this being so huge when I was a kid, and I remember the short time when it came out on VHS and big clamshell box was a huge thing. It was like only out for, I think it was only available for a limited time or whatever. It's VHS was a weird thing sales wise back then. They weren't as it would be a while before they became like the normal thing. But I remember the very first VHS came out on clamshell. I did not get it. I didn't actually get this movie myself until I bought the I forget what anniversary DVD, which I still have, because I kept that version. It was right after the special edition when Steven Spielberg altered, some of the scenes and kind of did a George Lucas on, if you will, put back in some scenes, added some CG, did the infamous erasing the guns from the policemen and giving them walkie talkies. So yeah, I have that special edition version along with with the original version too on that disc. But I kept that one because I don't think that version is on this. I think this is strictly the theatrical version. So I kept that for that reason, but also for the fact that there's an audio track on that one, which is a live theatrical performance where John Williams is conducting orchestra to the film. So you're watching the movie, and the soundtrack you're hearing is the audience playing and the John Williams score being played live. So you get audience reaction with the movie. It's a really cool audio track to watch the movie with and listen to. It's like being in the crowd. And if you're watching it in a surround sound, it's really cool because it totally immerses you, and you feel a lot like you're in the theater watching. It's really cool when you can find certain Blu-rays or DVDs that have an audio track like that with a live audience. It's pretty cool. But yeah, E.T. is one that never fails to disappoint. Whenever I see it, I watch it, just get the feels. I've taken my kids to the theater. Oh, actually, Chris has seen it in the theater. I don't think Kara's ever seen it. She's seen it at home. She knows E.T., but she never actually got to see it in the theater. Chris has seen it at least twice in the theater. I know I took him when he was real young, probably close to Kara's age now, maybe a little younger. And then a couple years ago, I think we saw it at the drive-in. They were showing it. But Kara has had a chance to see it in the theater. But I know she does. She's familiar with E.T. She loves E.T. So, but this is, again, a movie that gets me every time. I'm always happy to check it out. It hits me in the feels, and it's so, it still holds up to this day. It's still one of Spielberg's best, in my opinion. And last in this list, you want to talk about? Oh wait, no, I take it back. I have two more on this list because I can't count apparently. So next on this list, you want to go back to Feel Good. This is another one from my childhood. I can't remember the first time I saw this. It had to be on HBO or cable somewhere, because again, as a kid in the early '80s, I was around when HBO cable TV was kind of in its infancy. I think it had been around in the '70s, just starting out. We got a cable box around 1980 or so, and we would see a lot of these movies. HBO, the content of HBO was basically, the same movies replayed over and over throughout the day. So you probably catch the same film like 2 or 3 times a day, in constant rotation. So some films you would see all the time, and that's why a lot of my childhood is based on those films. From seeing them, and they're embedded in my memory, and they become such a big nostalgic part of me, and why I enjoy, not only those films, just films in general, because that's all I did on HBO. I was watching these movies, but I think this one I had to see on HBO because I can't remember. I can't think of around, so I would have seen it at that time. But it became, when I first saw it, it was something about it just struck a chord with me, and the anti-hero, if you will, and it just, I don't know, spoke to me in a weird way. And that is John Carpenter's Escape from New York. I love this movie. Again, I know it's like, you don't only see happy in this, but it takes me to a just kick back, enjoy, and just I feel it's a happy place for me. It puts me at ease. I love this movie so much. Um, I fell in love with the Snake Plissken character. He was one of the reasons as a kid, between him and Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones and Harrison Ford Empire Strikes Back, why I love jackets so much. I mean, even though Snake doesn't wear a jacket to the most, well, not in the beginning, but I love him in that leather jacket, and something about he just cool to me as a kid. You cool guys had these jackets. Indiana Jones had the leather jacket. Han had that cool jacket in Empire Strikes Back. Snake had his leather jacket. His jackets were cool. That's what I gleaned off this as a kid. But the whole character of Snake was cool. To me, the whole aesthetic of the film was just eye popping, jaw dropping, if you will. I just love the music. Everything that's clicked with me. Of course, when I see this as a kid, this is what, 1981, I think it is. So I probably didn't see it until about 82, 83, give or take. Whenever it came on, I'm assuming when it came on HBO. It had to be HBO. So I would have been about like 7, 8 maybe. But it left such a big impression on me. Without even knowing anything about John Carpenter, I don't think I knew anything about Halloween. Nothing. I'm just a little kid who saw this movie with a really cool character doing really cool things in a really dark, scary city of New York, and it just resonated with me so much, and I absolutely loved it. And to this day, this is my absolute favorite John Carpenter film. And I like Escape from LA too. It's obviously not on par with New York, but this is, my favorite John Carpenter film, my favorite Kurt Russell. And this is why I enjoy Kurt Russell, because of this film. But I absolutely, yeah, Escape from New York. I even have a poster of it. I think I've showed you before in the previous videos, but I do have a poster for it. I love, love, love this movie. And again, it's one I just will put in a lot, frequently, just because I want to sit back and just have fun with it. And this is definitely, even though it doesn't seem like it, it's a very fun movie for me. Okay, now the last one, and this is a big one for me. This is a very influential film on me in a lot of ways, and it's up there as an all-time favorite. I This is a film. Okay, this came out in '77. This is crazy to think about this, which would have put me at 2 years old. But for some reason, I can distinctly remember as a kid going to the drive-in and seeing this movie on a big screen. Not remember much about it, but I remember seeing it at the drive-in when it came out. But that's really it. Honestly, I didn't fully see the movie again until I was, a teenager, and I think I rented it from a video store. Just, hey, I haven't seen the movie, I'll check it out, and I rented it and watched it, and it's like just fell in love with it. I think I probably seen it. Well, actually, after the point, you see it on TV. It's heavily edited, and it is one of these movies back in the '80s when they put it on TV. They would just put in voice actors that sound to dub in certain lines, or just take lines out, and you have certain words that are just edited badly. But that's one of the things you won't see anymore. But that was a very popular thing back in those days. Without further ado, that movie is Smokey and the Bandit. This is an all-time favorite of mine. But like I said, I rented that video, and I just watch it over and over and over again. I think we actually might have dubbed it. I might try to get a dub from it, but it was copy protected, so it wasn't perfect. You'd have the dark image light up, dark image light up. That's how those copy protected VHSs would work, unfortunately. And of course, I loved all three. Actually, 3 was the one I would see the most as a kid because it was on HBO all the time. Smokey and the Bandit Part 3. So I saw that all. That was like '83 when it came out. So it was probably '84, '85 when I saw it on cable. They reran it all the time. So that was the one I was most familiar with. So that's, again, later on, in my teens, because like I said, '83, I'd have been about, I'd have been 8. So yeah. So in my teens is when I was able to rent Smokey and the Bandit and actually see the first two because wasn't familiar with them, except for little bits. But yeah, I fell in love with this movie. I fell in love with the character of the Bandit. I fell in love with the Trans Am. That was to this day is my. I'm not a car guy, but I love the Trans Am. That classic Trans Am. There was a time I think I may have mentioned this before, but I actually had I had a black Firebird. It wasn't a Trans Am, but it was a Firebird. And I loved that car, and it was my reason for it is because of this movie. I always wanted to. So I'm gonna try this one time to try and get that car, and I wish I still had that in some ways. It would work me now as a family man and a man pushing 50. Be kind of silly, but at the time when I had it, I was in my 20s, and yeah, I wasn't. We didn't have kids and wasn't even married yet actually. Um, but yeah, I love that car. It had gave me a lot of problems, unfortunately, but I love that car. But this movie, I could recite this movie backwards and forwards. So many great quotable lines. As a kid, I actually recorded this on cassette tape. I would play the movie, and I had a cassette deck with a microphone up to the speaker of the TV. And when it's recorded, and I would play this, at night. I put it at my Walkman, and I put the headphones on it as I go to sleep at night, and fall asleep listening to it. So basically, I was like memorizing the the dialogue through osmosis, and I can just remember. But God, this is such a fun movie. This is probably the all-time when I need to hit that spot where I just got to I just want to sit back and just be happy. This is the one I will put in. The top one I will put in is Smokey and the Bandit, and it never gets old. And I was so grateful about last year, I think it was, I got to take Chris to the Art Craft Theater to see this on a big screen, and he absolutely loved it. And I was so happy that he loved this movie. Because, again, this is my favorite. Burt Reynolds, Pete Mustache. You got Sally Field, Jackie Gleason, one of those most iconic characters. Jerry Reed. I mean, it's so good. And even Smokey and the Bandit Part 2 is good too. Three is good for the history of what it was supposed to be, what it turned into, and other things. But something probably a whole other video on that. But again, Smokey and the Bandit is my go-to, my top go-to for. I just want to sit back and just be happy and have fun. And this is the movie that does it for me. Okay, so that is it. That's my 6. I mean, there's others too, but I think those are probably the typical or the most, I guess, common ones of the collection that I will pop out just to sit back and enjoy and have fun with. Obviously, Smokey and the Bandit is probably the top one, as I said, but and that's the beauty of movies. They're while they can make you think and they can do so much, it's escapism, and it's a great way to sit back and they'll make you happy, they can make you sad, they can scare you, make you think. It's a wonderful medium, and that's one of the reasons why I enjoy it so much. One of the reasons why I collect so much and try and see as many as possible of all kinds of films, and why I have so many favorites. But hey, enough about me. What about you? What are your favorites? Please, I'd love to find out about them. We all have them. Feel free to share them with me. But that is it for now. So until next time, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's it for now. So if you enjoyed this, click thumbs up, share, subscribe, leave me a comment below. Again, let me know what your go-to movies are for the ones that are going to make you feel good or make you feel anything, or just what are the fun movies you go to. I love to know everybody else's thoughts. I know there's always talk about we have our guilty pleasures and stuff like that, which I don't believe guilty pleasures is a such thing. You like a movie, you like a movie, end of story. You don't have to apologize to anybody for what you like. So or just say hi. I'll always take hi. So until next time, this is Chuck saying I will see you on the other side.